Okay, and we are back, and we are going to try something new. I found a different program. Probably remind you a lot of Khan Academy, but I want to try it and see how it goes. So here we go. We're going to be looking at taking a chemical equation in word form, changing it to formulas, and then balancing it. Alright, so we've already done the balancing part, and really we've already done the other part as well. This kind of goes back to chapter 22, so we have to remember some of the rules here. So let's look at our first one. We have iron 3 chloride plus ammonium hydroxide yields iron 3 hydroxide plus ammonium chloride. Alright, so let's just take a look at this. These are all ionic compounds. So if you remember correctly, we have to use our charges and make sure they balance out. Plus, we also have our Roman numeral here and a Roman numeral here. So we need to remember that the Roman numeral tells us the charge. Remember, it's not how many atoms of that element, it's the charge. Alright, so iron is a +3, and we're just going to go down and do all the charges. Chlorine's a -1. Ammonium, polyatomic ion, has a +1 charge. Hydroxide, of course, is -1. Iron, of course, is a +3. Hydroxide, -1. Ammonium, +1. And chloride, -1. Let's do our formulas. Iron is a +3. Chlorine is a -1, so that means we need to multiply that by 3, right? So chlorine is going to have 3. So we have FeCl3 plus, we got a +1, -1, so we've got NH4 is ammonium and OH is hydroxide. Yields, iron and hydroxide, same idea. Hydroxide is a -1, so we need 3 of those. So Fe, and remember, hydroxide is a polyatomic ion, so if you have more than one, you got to put it in parentheses. Plus ammonium chloride, +1, -1, so NH4Cl. Alright, so there's our chemical equation. Now all we have to do is balance it. We'll do our usual thing, divide it in half and write down our elements. Iron, chlorine, ammonium, and hydroxide. And in this case, we can keep our hydroxides together because we have a hydroxide here and a hydroxide here. So we're good to go with that. We don't have to split it up. So do the same thing on the other side. Alright, let's change colors here. Okay, so actually, we're not going to change colors. We're going to say how many we have of each one. So I've got 1 iron, 3 chlorines, 1 ammonium, and 1 hydroxide on the reactant side. On the product side, we have 1 iron, 1 chlorine, 1 ammonium, and 3 hydroxides. Alright, now let's change colors. So it looks like our hydroxides are the ones that we need to balance first. Okay, so let's go ahead and do that. So I've got 1 and 3, so I'm going to make 3 hydroxides here. But that also makes this ammonium here 3 as well, so I'm going to make that a 3. Alright, so now I need to make this ammonium 3. So we're going to do that by putting a 3 there. That gives me 3 ammoniums and also gives me 3 chlorines. And now we are all balanced. Let's check and make sure. 1 iron, 1 iron, 3 chlorines, 3 chlorines, 3 ammoniums, 3 ammoniums, 3 hydroxides, 3 hydroxides. Alright, easy breezy. Let's move on to the next one. Alright, ammonium sulfate plus calcium hydroxide yields aluminum hydroxide plus calcium sulfate. And I should have said aluminum sulfate first, not ammonium. So make sure we remember that. Alright, same thing, all ionic, so let's check our charges. So I have +3 for aluminum, -2 for sulfate, +2 for calcium, -1 for hydroxide, +3 again for aluminum, -1 hydroxide, +2 for calcium, -2 for sulfate. Okay, so we've got our charges. Let's come up with our formulas. So I got a 2, and our 3 and a 2, so we know that needs to be 6. So we're going to have Al2SO4 polyatomic ion, so it's got to be in parentheses if you got more than one. 3 plus calcium and hydroxide. So I've got a 2 and a -1, so I have to have 2 hydroxides, again in parentheses. aluminum and hydroxide. So we need 3 hydroxides because aluminum is +3 and hydroxide is -1. So again in parentheses with the 3. And plus calcium sulfate, they're good because it's +2 -2, so it's C8SO4. Alright, let's balance this thing. Aluminum, we have sulfate on both sides and hydroxide on both sides, so we can keep those together. Calcium and hydroxide, so again aluminum, sulfate, calcium, and hydroxide. So I've got 2 aluminums, 3 sulfates, 1 calcium, and 2 hydroxide. I have on the reactant side, and then on the product side I have 1 aluminum, 1 sulfate, 1 calcium, and 3 hydroxides. Alright, so our hydroxides are different, so we need to look at that. Our sulfates are different, and our aluminums are different. Alright, so let's change colors and see what happens here. So let's do the sulfates first. Alright, so my sulfates, I have 3 on the reactant side, so I'm going to do 3 on the product side. Do 3 there, so that gives me 3 of these, and it also gives me 3 calciums. Okay, so then my hydroxides, I got a 2 and a 3, so we probably need to make that equal 6. So if I have 3 on the reactant side, which also gives me 3 calciums, and then gives me 6 hydroxides, and then I'm going to do a 2 here. That's going to give me 2 aluminums and 6 hydroxides, and it looks like we are done. So I've got a 2 and a 2, 3 and a 3, 3, 3, 6 and 6. Alright, so we are done with that one.